In the quiet town of Oak Ridge, nestled in the heart of the Midwest, the Oak Ridge School for Gifted Children had always been known for its exceptional students and cutting-edge curriculum. With ivy creeping up the stone walls and a grand wooden front door, it looked like any other prestigious school from the outside. But deep beneath its polished exterior, Oak Ridge hid a secret. And no one knew it better than Charlie, the school's loyal canine. Charlie was a German Shepherd, a workhorse of a dog who had been with the Oak Ridge School police force for over 3 years. He was known for his sharp senses and unwavering loyalty. Every day, he performed his duties, patrolling the hallways, checking for any signs of trouble, and protecting the students and faculty alike. But Charlie was more than just a guard dog. He had a sense of purpose that made him stand out. A sense of curiosity, perhaps, that would soon lead him to uncover something that no one could have ever anticipated. One chilly autumn morning, as the golden leaves scattered across the cobblestone paths, Charlie and his handler, Officer Thomas, were doing their usual rounds. The day was uneventful at first, just the usual whispers of the wind and the rustling of papers as students shuffled to and from their classrooms. But as they passed by the old janitor's closet, Charlie stopped, his nose twitching with an unfamiliar scent. He barked once, sharply, his body tense, as if alert to something hidden just beneath the surface. "Charlie, what is it?" Officer Thomas asked, looking down at his partner with a raised eyebrow. "You smell something?" Charlie let out another bark, this one more insistent. He walked towards the back wall of the closet, his paws clicking against the cold tile floor. Officer Thomas followed him, puzzled. The janitor's closet was just that, a place where cleaning supplies were kept, a place that seemed perfectly normal. But Charlie wasn't convinced. With a quick glance around, Officer Thomas knelt beside his dog, reaching out to inspect the area where Charlie had focused his attention. The wall felt solid enough, but there was something about it that didn't sit right. It was too off-center. He ran his fingers along the edge, and that's when he felt it, a small seam. Charlie was sniffing the floor nearby, his tail wagging as though he knew something important was about to happen. Thomas pressed his hand against the wall, applying just enough pressure to trigger a soft click. Slowly, the section of the wall began to shift, revealing a narrow staircase leading downward. A wave of unease washed over Officer Thomas. The school was old, but a secret basement was hidden down there. Charlie barked excitedly and started to move towards the stairs, eager to explore. Officer Thomas hesitated, a sense of foreboding creeping up his spine. He took a deep breath, motioning for Charlie to stay. "Stay close, boy," he murmured, his hand resting on the dog's head for a moment of reassurance before he started down the stairs. The air grew colder as they descended, and a faint, musty smell clung to the walls of the hidden passage. The stairs creaked underfoot, but Charlie's ears were pricked, alert, as though he sensed something more than the environment around them. The stairs led to a small, dimly lit room, its walls lined with dusty wooden crates and old furniture. But amidst the forgotten relics of the school's past, there was something much darker. In the corner of the room stood a rusted metal door, its surface marred with scratches and scuff marks, as if someone had tried to force it open. Charlie approached it cautiously, his body tense. Officer Thomas followed, his flashlight flickering over the door's ancient lock. The light shined on an odd symbol etched into the door's surface, an intricate design, almost like a warning. "Something's not right here," Thomas muttered under his breath. He took out his phone and called for backup, but before he could say anything more, a faint sound caught his attention. A muffled voice coming from behind the door. His blood ran cold. Charlie growled low, his fur standing on end as his eyes locked onto the door. It was a sound that no one should ever have to hear, a cry for help, faint but unmistakable. With a quick, determined motion, Officer Thomas reached into his utility belt and pulled out a crowbar. He forced it into the crack of the door, his muscles straining as he worked the tool. Finally, with a screech of metal on metal, the door opened just enough to slip through. Inside, the room was dark, the air heavy with dust and decay. But the moment they stepped inside, a scene unlike anything Thomas could have imagined unfolded before him. There were rows of cages, large, cold metal structures that lined the walls. Some were empty, but others held grim reminders of the school's twisted history. Inside the cages were small, terrified animals, cats, dogs, and rabbits, all looking up at him with eyes filled with fear and confusion. At the center of the room stood a makeshift table, cluttered with medical supplies and strange, unmarked bottles. It was clear that this was no ordinary basement. It had been transformed into some kind of twisted laboratory. But the most horrifying sight was the man hunched over a table in the far corner of the room. His clothes were disheveled, his eyes wide with madness as he mumbled to himself, completely unaware of the intrusion. The scent of chemicals filled the air, and a deep sense of unease settled into Thomas's bones. Charlie barked once, louder this time, and the man finally turned, his face pale with shock. "Oh, who are you?" the man stammered, his hands shaking as he backed away from the table. "You're under arrest," Thomas said sternly, pulling out his gun. "Step away from the table." But the man didn't move. Instead, his eyes locked on the cage of animals, and for a brief moment, his face twisted into something unrecognizable, rage mixed with a twisted sense of satisfaction. He lunged toward the cage, but Charlie was faster. In a flash, the K-9 leapt, his teeth sinking into the man's arm with a sharp snap. The man screamed in pain, falling to the ground in a heap. Officer Thomas quickly restrained him, securing his hands behind his back. "You're done," he said. "This madness ends now." As backup arrived, the police secured the hidden basement and began taking inventory of the twisted experiments. It was clear that the man had been using the school's resources for illegal and horrific animal testing. Charlie had found the evidence, and justice would be served. The animals were rescued, and many were rehabilitated by animal welfare organizations, who ensured they received the care and attention they desperately needed. The man was charged with numerous crimes, including animal cruelty, illegal medical practices, and child endangerment. He had been using the basement to conduct these horrific experiments under the guise of a research project for the school's gifted students. In the weeks that followed, the town of Oak Ridge was shaken to its core. The story made headlines across the nation, and the community was left reeling from the discovery. Parents were horrified, and the school's reputation was forever tarnished. But in the end, justice prevailed. And at the heart of it all was Charlie, the loyal K-9 who had uncovered the dark secrets buried beneath Oak Ridge School. Charlie had done what no one else could. He had uncovered the truth. And for that, he would always be remembered as a hero. If you were moved by Charlie's bravery and the rescue of these innocent animals, please like and subscribe to our channel for more true stories of courage, loyalty, and justice.